welcome back here, everybody. It's good to have you guys back on board here. A lot going on here today. The AAA Clash at Clairemont, Brad J. And I'm now with Bobby Oppenheim, owner and founder of AAA. And, of course, you're big sponsors and you're a big part of what is going on here today. First of all, welcome to the show. Good to have you on.
Thanks, buddy. Good to be here.
Well, talk to me about your involvement, first of all, or getting involved with Clash at Clairemont.
Well, you know, we've been, as a protective gear company, we obviously support vert and any skateboarders that are really going to support protective gear. And unfortunately in skateboarding, part of the culture doesn't necessarily embrace that. So the areas that do, we really want to make grow. We want to keep them alive. Vert is something that, as you know, is struggling in terms of events and coverage. X Games down to one event in the U.S. and Clash is something that, you know, comes from a great place, helping support cancer and Mike and Grind for Life, and also is a great outlet here in Southern California for vert, now skater cross, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
And you talk about the culture of skateboarding. I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's been kind of a no-pad thing. And I don't necessarily know the reason by it, because I know as me, being at 55, when skateboarding, when the parks got destroyed because of their privately owned parks and the insurance went through the roof and people closed all the parks, well, we were forced to start building our own or just skating street.
Yep.
And so it came to a situation, you skated street, and you skated street like pretty much every single day is what you did.
Right.
And you weren't wearing pads on the street. You weren't wearing your helmet, you weren't wearing knee pads or anything like that, but you'd skate street all the time. And I almost feel like, and I could be way off base, but I feel like for me at that era, maybe that what made me stop wearing pads, because I didn't really wear pads.
Right.
And the only time now that I really go to put them on is if I'm skating anything that's something that you want to skate that's big, and now it's put the helmet on. Now I'm getting to a point where, like, always wear the helmet.
Yeah.
Because the helmet's, you can't avoid someone else running into you.
Right.
And that could take you out. So you may be the best skater at all, but
you know, you never know what's going to happen, and to us it's obvious. Obviously we're biased, but we're in it because we think it's a necessary thing.
I think so.
And it doesn't matter how great or, you know, beginner you are, why not protect your brain? I mean, you know, concussions and helmet, you know, head safety is a major issue across all sports, you know, like soccer. So in skateboarding, where if you're street skating and there's cars and poles and scooters and other things that could create a problem, or you're park skating and, you know, you're in a 15-foot concrete bowl.
Hang up top, go straight to bottom on your head, yeah.
I mean, bad things happen. Sadly, we hear about them all the time. And bad things happen even when you're protected. But we hear all the time, well, if I wasn't wearing a helmet, doctor said I wouldn't be here. So to us, it's a no-brainer, and, you know, we want to support the events and the things that appreciate it.
What kind of testing now goes into what makes a good helmet or what makes good knee pads, or is there a certain testing you got to run all these products through?
So there's a certification required by the Consumer Product Safety Commission to consider a helmet to be a certified helmet for bike use. Not skate use, but bike use. There is a skate standard called the ASTM standard that is similar. It's not required by law. All of our certified helmets meet both the CPSC and the ASTM skate standard.
You take the extra step is what you guys do, just for the protection.
Every certified helmet is certified to both. But there's a lot of misconceptions about head safety and helmet safety and certifications. We also make helmets that are not certified. They're much more comfortable, they're lighter, they're softer. And for a low impact fall, they're likely just as safe or safer. But if you're going vert or big air, and where you're, you know, on a boosted board and you're longboarding, you're going 20 miles an hour or more,
that's
or 10 feet in the air, you really got to wear a certified helmet, because one hit at that speed, you need a certified helmet to withstand the impact of one particular fall.
Now, I know some of the mountain biking helmets are, was that MIP design?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about, yeah.
So MIPS is a kind of an anti-concussion slip layer that allows your head to move independent of your helmet on impact. So a lot of the force of the impact with a little bit of shifting between your head and the helmet can move a lot of that force away from your head. Instead of going right through the helmet and rattling your brain, it's kind of moving away from
takes the impact a little bit away.
So we make a couple of helmets with MIPS as well.
Okay. Is that a relatively new thing with MIPS, right? Like,
it's been out now for probably 6-7 years,
okay,
but
yeah, I was thinking
in the
5 or
last
so.
2 years, they've started to hit some critical mass, and I think the consumers being more aware of what that is all about. The product does cost more, but we do believe in the technology.
Yeah, because I mean, look, it's for safety too. And you think about skateboarding, it's concrete, like you're saying. There's poles, there's stairs, there's ledges, there's things that you can hit. There's cars, bikes, are out there. So
and people.
Yeah,
like you said.
I feel like, and Jim and I were talking about skating skate parks and at our age, and saying one of the worst things about it is people who don't look. And a lot of the new kids that are getting into skateboarding don't really look at what's going on and what they're doing, and they just drop in.
Right.
And every time I've tried to avoid a crash is where I feel like I've gotten the most hurt, rather than just powering through it or whatever. So.
Well, there's a lot of young kids, and that's the future, obviously. But because they're young, sometimes they're not as versed in that shared setting. They don't know the unspoken rules.
That's why we try to skate when it's completely uncrowded.
Exactly.
That's why you skate at 8 in the morning when there's nobody there.
Kids are in school.
So talk about your relationship now. This isn't a one-year deal, right?
No. Well, hopefully not. Yeah, I mean, our plan here is long-term. Andy Mack came to us. We've been looking for something to do, being a New York company. That's our roots. That's in our blood. But obviously, this is the epicenter of the industry. We've been looking to something to do out here that we could really put our stamp on and really make much more than just a one-day local event. To us, this can be one of the leading global events in action sports. That's our view. So we know it's been around 12 years. We know it's had its peaks and valleys. But we're trying to do a lot of things to make it kind of a year-round brand. We did our Clash Madness event where we pulled in like 14 of the leading skate shops across the country.
That was cool.
To promote the event, get their local skaters involved, and kind of get the whole country involved, being aware that this is all leading up to this event that happens here in San Diego County on September 21st. And after the event, same thing. I mean, it doesn't end today. All this amazing content, this webcast, we got so many people filming. There's going to be amazing content that between us, some of the athletes, Clash, we want to see, we want to get out there, we want people seeing it all year round. We've got some signed stuff we'll be giving away, doing promotions all year so that we can lead up to next year's Clash, and hopefully it'll be bigger and better than this one.
And so looking at starting in '94, what made you go for what you did? I mean, did you have a fall one day and said, you know what, my helmet sucks, I need a new helmet? How did it happen for you?
No, it's this is a boring story, but no, I'm a former CPA.
Okay.
And I was miserable after a couple of years of that.
It's not a boring story.
No, well, 25, and so I left, got married, was unemployed, and had to figure out like what I really wanted to do with my life. And at that time, actually, the way we began, we hooked up with friends of friends that started kind of the first action sports retailer in New York called Blades Board and Skate. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to make a product. I was in the service business. I wanted to make something physical, tangible. Always, love sports, love entertainment. And those guys kind of opened my eyes to what was happening in skateboarding and action sports. This was well before the X Games, and how much protective gear people were buying. And there were really no major brands focused on it other than ProTech, and really they were just doing helmets. And at that time, even they were way past their prime. They were on their third owner. They didn't have inventory. We saw an opportunity to come in and be a key protective gear brand. So that's really how it started, and it's been an amazing ride. We've grown a lot. And
I remember as a kid, for me, was seeing Rector.
Yeah.
The early Rector stuff. I mean, it looked like a hockey helmet.
Yeah, it looks great. You see it now, though, and we're going, hey, maybe we should pull out some of those colors, the
Well,
old school. Looks good.
The leather gloves with the rainbow ends to them, or the rainbow straps on your knee pads.
Yeah.
Like,
Yellow and blue. I mean,
it was groundbreaking when that stuff came out. And it's like, you can't slide on those knee pads. They're freaking leather, man.
Yeah.
They're suede. You're
Right.
going to go down.
crazy.
But we had all that stuff, and it was like, I think that
Well, and everybody wore it.
yeah.
Everybody wore it somehow along the way.
I had the gloves, man. I was so stoked. My mom bought me the gloves. And
Yeah.
it's like, I didn't really need them, but
Right.
I thought I needed them, but, you know.
You probably did. You know, you might have saved your wrist once or twice.
So now you're talking a little bit about trying to go into a little snowboarding side of things too as well. Like,
So we're, you know,
we doing helmets for snowboarding and skiing.
we view ourselves really as the leading action sports protective gear brand in the world. So we're distributed in 42 countries. We have our Canadian distributor out here, guys from Australia out here today who came out. And yeah, we certainly grew out of skateboarding, but the skateboard culture and the action sports lifestyle and the kind of classic shell, that's endemic across all these other sports. So many brands have come along in these other sports and basically are making things that look like what we've been doing for 25 years. So we make some
flattery, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
But we took our eye off the ball, but we're bringing it back. We make some great snow helmets. We make a lot of wakeboard and water sports helmets. We work with, you know, a lot of e-board companies, so boosted boards. We make co-branded boosted helmets. We make co-branded one-wheel.
Okay, so you work with, so one wheel too, yeah.
One wheel too, so they sell our helmet co-branded for them. Liquid Force is our, you know, wakeboard brand that we make all the helmets for them.
Why AAA? What was the idea behind the name?
Well, the name grew out of necessity. So we were
Single 8. Then you went double 8.
No, we were struggling to launch. We were getting ready for our first trade show, the National Sporting Goods Association show in Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
In 1995. And
I
we had
remember
our
those.
products ready, but we still didn't have a name that everybody agreed on. And it was getting like weeks before the show, we had to figure out our name, get our packaging done. Everything I read, I was looking for a word, something to kind of hit. And I was reading an article in the New York Times, it's a true story, about Asian superstition. And it talked about how the Asian culture is very superstitious.
Yeah.
The number 8 is a good luck number, and it told the story of a company in Asia that opened its business on August 8th at 8 a.m. And it said in the article, the 888, 8th month, 8th day, 8th hour, was a sign of good luck and prosperity. And I sat back on my couch.
Oh, what a cool story.
And I'm like, the 888. 888. Sounds cool. It's got this hidden, like, good luck thing going on. We could do a lot with the logo.
So you brought it to everybody, and what did they say?
Everybody either liked it or they said, sounds cool, but why 888? Like, I don't really, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And my answer to that was, what does Nike mean?
It's a freaking swoosh.
Well, now everyone knows that, like, Nike's the goddess of air or something, but at the time, nobody knew that.
Yeah.
What does Reebok mean? What does Apple even mean? So we'll make it what it means, but everybody liked the name, and actually the logo's a great story.
Build it.
So the logo, you know, the 3 8s.
Yeah.
You guys can see that up in here. So the logo was designed at the time. We were in New York City. We had no money. We were, you know, I was 25. We were friends of friends that were 18, helping or whatever. And the guy by the name of John Soto designed the logo for us, and he went on to become a major, like, ad exec. He did all the those Nike TV spots. You know, if you were treated like skateboarders, you know, where, you know, people were playing tennis, cops rolled up, and then they went scaling the fence and everything, like, because they weren't allowed to be there. He created all that stuff. He's won a ton of Clios. Super talented guy. He designed our logo, and we thank him to this day for it.
But you could have just wrote 3 8s like that.
You think so, but I couldn't. I mean, I can't draw 1 8.
Oh man, it's a good story. Now I said you say your story is not that cool from being a CPA, but I think it's a pretty darn cool story.
Well, thank you.
You're in the working of. You're working for the man.
Yeah, I was. Arthur Anderson. My dad was like, "Why are you leaving Arthur Anderson?"
That's a good, solid job, son.
You're going to have a career forever. Meanwhile, they were gone 3 years later.
Yep. And you're all, no, Dad, I'm going to throw it all the way for skateboarding.
Right.
What?
Right.
You're crazy.
A little shout out to my wife of 25 years who had my back on that big time.
Yeah.
I was not a hero in the family at that particular moment in time.
My dad had pulled me aside at 18 years old and told me that, why are you still riding that skateboard? You're going to go nowhere with that skateboard. And here I am in my mid-50s now, still ride a skateboard. And that skateboarding has helped me raise 3 kids, buy houses, and survive. So, to me, Dad, you were wrong. That's okay. I don't hate on you for it.
No.
But so what's the next for skateboarding with you guys? You're happy with everything that's put out? Because my gosh, the knee pads. I skated the knee pads, and then one day I had to do some work at my house, and I put my knee pads on. They're comfortable for everything, man. I was actually doing tile work and put my knee pads on because I skated them and they were so comfortable.
Absolutely.
They gave me these crappy rubber things, and I'm like, I'm not going to wear those.
Dude, you have no idea the kinds of calls we get for people that use our pads. I mean, Halloween is a big season for knee pads, our knee pads. Like all these Ghost and Goblin Fests and stuff, all these monsters that are dressed up, and they're sitting in the woods like scaring me.
Yeah.
They're all wearing our knee pads.
That's
we sell
super.
a shit ton of, excuse me.
That's all right. You can actually say that on a webcast.
Oh, can I?
Shit can be said.
We sell a shit ton of knee pads for
they are the
monsters at Halloween. And a little shout out to 187 Killer Pads, who is also now part of the 888 Distribution Inc. family of brands. And they honestly make the best knee and elbow pads in the business.
They make some good stuff.
So we're happy to have them in the family, and we're making a lot of new stuff. Always trying to develop new technologies for helmets. Always trying to make new knee and elbow pads, wrist guards for different wheeled and board sports, and just launched some 187 Killer bags as well, which we're pretty excited about. Backpacks, mesh backpacks to air out your stuff.
Are you doing the padded shorts at all? Do you guys try to?
Well, 888 makes the bum saver. It's a big part of our protective gear line. We sell a lot of bum savers. Every guy skating Mega, you don't see it, but they're all wearing our bum savers.
They do.
And we make them for roller, skate, like derby, skateboard, and bike. 3 different styles.
I could use those.
And snow.
I had a good hip check the other day.
Dude, you know who to call, bro.
Yeah, now I know that.
You know who to call.
I'll keep you on the speed dial on that one, dang it. So if somebody who's watching right now, and they want to try out, they want to get the AAAs, is it best to go on your guys' website, go to your local skate shop? What do you recommend?
Well, look, we certainly support our local retailers. I mean, they're the lifeblood of our business. So go to your local skate shop. They better be carrying 888 and 187. If they're not, tell them they need to. And if they're not, you can certainly go on to 888.com. We have everything. You can check everything out. You can order it there.
If your shop is out of the size, then go to your website. Then you can get the correct size you need right away.
Absolutely. So we have everything, but
888.com?
888.com. Well, you're already watching, but /clash to be watching what we're doing right now anyhow.
Nice. And also, being part of something like this, I don't know if I told you the story, but my son was diagnosed with cancer at about 7 years old. And Mike Rogers stepped in. My son was probably 1.5 years into his cancer treatment. And my son's a skateboarder and sent us boards, T-shirts, everything we could imagine. He sent us massive package for the whole house.
Wow.
So all the kids got them. My son, we came here. He was bald going through his cancer treatments. And we were here 2012, I think it was. And that moment right there was like such
How's he doing?
100% good. 15 years old, skateboarder, loves it, and he just appreciates what Mike did for us. And that's why I always tell people, donate on the website.
I didn't mention this either, and I don't want to bring anybody down, but when Andy came to us, I was about 1 year into losing my brother to cancer. So it was kind of very relevant for me personally, and you know, a lot of reasons why we're involved with this event, but probably the biggest one is what we're doing to raise money for cancer. So definitely give, do it right now.
Three clicks, Mike says. Just click, and
click, and donate. We need it.
Well, I appreciate it. Bobby, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate AAA being such a big part of what's going on here at Clash, and look forward to that friendship continuing on for many years.
Absolutely. Pumped to be a part of it.
Right on, man.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Later.
There's different companies out there. They have flashy logos and marketing campaigns, but we're strictly about skateboarding and no bullshit. You know, some other brand, we know what they are. Dude, slippery, like, just wash out on the flat block. Boom, there goes your head. Or boom, there goes your wrist. Crazy voodoo magic. I don't know what they put in this, but it does not slip. It has just the right amount of grip and give, and we've had it on our ramp for over 4 or 5 months now, and we haven't had to mop it a single time.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine, 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening.
I don't hear that now. I hear myself. All right. Well, welcome back here. It's like a revolving door with this chair, you know.
Yeah, it's cool to be a part of it.
I have Emilio Brocott with us now. Now you're doing Exposure. You explained to me it's a nonprofit. Is it to get girls skating?
Yeah, it's empowering women and girls through skateboarding. So we do skateboard programs for girls around the world. And we do a major event every year that is called Exposure, and we bring girls that skate street, vert, bowl, everything. And it's the world's biggest women's skateboarding event, and this year it's happening in Huntington Beach on November 2nd.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually in Huntington Beach on November 2nd.
Oh, you should definitely come by.
I know, I'm announcing surfing. I think that's the last day of the juniors.
Well, you might be busy, but
no, I think I'm done that day. That's funny.
Cool.
So how do you arrange it throughout the world? Now you say it's a world thing that you guys do.
Yeah.
How do you find the contacts for different countries and stuff to promote women and girls skating?
Well, actually, girls and women have just heard about the events that we do, and they come out from Japan, from Australia, from France, from all over to come and compete in our event. And then we do a youth program every month called Skate Rising, where we involve girls 18 and under in teaching them how to skate, but they also have to do a community service project and give back to the community.
How cool.
And we've done that around the world as well.
That is really cool. Not just that, you make them do community involvement too as well.
Yeah, so our major event that's happening on November 2nd, it benefits survivors of domestic violence, so we donate our proceeds to a local shelter.
So that's when your show is on the 2nd, right?
Yep.
And so if people wanted to go to HB, they could go to Huntington Beach and be able to check it out. Where do you guys do it at?
At the Huntington Beach Van Skatepark.
Oh, the Van Skatepark right there.
That's the first year that we're going to have it there. We've usually been in Encinitas, but we're switching up this year, and we're excited for a new venue.
Are you expecting a big turnout for it too as well?
Well, last year we had 160 girls and women skating street, bowl, and vert, so we're expecting at least that many, if not more.
Who did you look up to skating for the girls side of things?
I looked up to Lindsay Adams Hawkins.
Okay, Lindsay.
Which is funny because we're the same age.
That's what I was thinking, that you guys got to be pretty close to the same.
Yeah, so right when I picked up a skateboard, I remember going to check out the X Games in Philadelphia, and she was just blasting airs on the vert ramp, doing inverts. I'm like, what is this lady doing? I want to do stuff like that. And then I learned she wasn't a lady, she was my age.
Were you skating already at that time?
I had kind of dabbled, but quite honestly, I was mostly like rollerblading. But I was like, all right, now I want to just be skateboarding because I see that, girls and women are doing this and they're succeeding in it.
So what was that experience for, like, being out there at X Games in Philly like that?
It just opened up my mind. I'm not sure what it was about that moment, but from then on, I became completely obsessed with skateboarding. It's like seeing somebody that I can relate to, being able to do that and accomplish these amazing tricks. I was like, wow, that is exactly what I want to be doing. That looks super fun, and it seems attainable,
That is so funny. That was my second X Games that I'd ever been a part of announcing out there.
Wow.
And I was announcing with Duncan.
Like 2002?
Yeah, oh yeah, because we did 2000. It was 99 and 2000 were San Francisco. 2001, 2002 were Philly.
Right.
And that's when I first met Jake Brown. I was skating with him at a barbecue the day before X Games.
That's so cool.
He was a young guy, but I remember that one being such a big event for me too as well, because I'd just done X Games for the first time the year before.
Wow,
so going back out
world.
there, yeah. And Lindsay, I put the gold medal around her neck when, how old was she? 13, I think, when she won the gold medal. And I was
in vert and in street, she medaled, and she's still an amazing skateboarder today, and she's able to juggle that
and
while being a mom.
How many kids they got?
Incredible.
Two?
She has two young girls, yes.
When I was doing Nitro Circus, I was traveling around announcing it, and she was still skating in it. I noticed something she did that was just the weirdest thing to me. Is she actually got, we talked about it on the webcast earlier, she had a brand new pair of Swiss bearings from Powell.
Yeah.
She took the bearings out of the box. She dumped them into a glass of Coca-Cola
What?
and sat the bearings overnight.
Brand new ones.
Brand new bearings.
Why?
And took them out of the Coca-Cola, cleaned them off, and put them in.
But
And
they're
I'm all-
perfect.
I go, why would you do that? He goes, they're just too fast.
What?
It's too fast. It's that the ramp is too fast. It sends me too far. So she would purposely slow down her brand new bearings because of that.
That is bizarre. I mean, you could just like pump a little bit
But
more
it's a
lightly.
straight drop into that. So that's that.
Oh yeah, on the nitro ramp. I guess
Yeah.
I've never skated it, so I wouldn't know.
So, but it was just kind of, to see
That's
that.
really funny.
Wow. And then how about Cara Beth Burnside? Did you look up the Cara Beth at all?
Yeah, she was skating at that same demo. It was her and Mimi Knoop, Jen O'Brien,
Oh my gosh, Jen. Mimi.
and Lindsay. And just seeing those women, and they were doing these amazing tricks, I was just blown away. And I remember getting all their autographs. And me and my friend, she was also a girl
You're so
who
stoked.
picked up a skateboard. We just looked at each other. We're like, this is what we have to do.
Is she still skating?
She is not still skating,
But you are.
but I am. I've been obsessed since that day. So thank you, Lindsay and CB and Jen and Mimi for paving the way.
Have you ever told Lindsay that story? Like,
I've told it to her multiple times. I actually skated with her like last month, and I was like,
What is-
remember,
what is she- she's
you're
a
the
quick-
reason I started skating?
she's such a cool girl. She probably
She's
likes
so
it.
cool.
She probably is like, oh,
She's like,
thank
ah. She's like, whatever, I'm old now. And I'm like, you're not old. We're the same age. What are you trying to
you."
say?
Yeah, if you're old, then I'm like a million years old.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, what do you think about the progression when it comes to skateboarding for the women's side of things and the girls' side of things?
The progression
Oh
of
my
women's skateboarding
gosh.
has been phenomenal.
you
It's just
kidding
kind
me?
of skyrocketed the past few years.
I don't even know what it seemed like it was 10 years ago. It was good,
Yeah.
but it just seems like it's really stepped up.
Just the past like 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
the level of the women in skateboarding has just jumped. And when I say women, I actually mean the 10-year-old girls who are
Yeah.
really pushing the limits of
Oh, Sky
what
Brown.
Sky Brown, Kokona Haraki,
Oh, yeah.
and Sakura and Misugu. I guess mostly the girls from Japan,
Yep.
but as well as some of the girls from the U.S. like Minna and Bryce and Brighton. It's just amazing to see, how far they're really pushing it. And
I
it
don't-
seems like every few months there's a trick that's never been done by a female just in a contest run, like it's no big deal.
And I feel like we didn't have that many top pros when it came to the women back in the day and the girls back in the day. And now you just rattled off so many names, and they're all qualified to be able to win Olympic qualifiers and compete for their respective countries. I mean, I was announcing out there at Dew Tour when we were out there at Long Beach, and I was blown away by the talent. Those young
Absolutely.
Japanese girls are on fire right now.
Yeah, they're really changing the game, and it's wild to see not only how many girls are skating, but at a high level, like at these huge Olympic qualifying events, there's over 70 women and girls that are really competitive and really doing well. Whereas before, there maybe be a handful that were really competitive. you know?
Yeah, and it's just a little bit different. Okay, so how do young girls or women who want to skate and do more about it, how do they get involved? What would you recommend on exposure? Is there a website, Facebook? What do you need to do?
Well, girls can follow us at Exposure Skate on Instagram or go on exposureskate.org.
I'm going to follow you guys right now while you're talking.
And they can come check out whether it's our Learn to Skate clinics or we do a lot of events for amateur girls and
So
pro
that's-
girls. So all levels are welcome to come and join in on the fun.
So that's also a good point that you bring up, that you have the beginning too as well. So if it's like someone's trying to get into skating, she doesn't really, I'm not any good at it, but I want to try it. That's where those can help out too, the teaching them
Yeah,
the basics and stuff.
We try to build a community of the girls that are interested in skating. So our youth program, Skate Rising, that takes place mostly in Encinitas, but around the world as well. We have about 100 girls that come out to these events, and they're just learning to skate with their friends. They're all covered in their like pink helmets and like purple pads, and they're doing community service projects, arts and crafts, and then they just get to go learn and hang out with their friends and build a community and learn from other people and kind of grow together.
That's really cool. And so are you done competing, or what's your story now?
No, actually I'm representing Poland in all the Olympic qualifiers. So
Okay, wait, so Poland?
Poland, yeah, I was born and raised there.
So both your parents are from there, okay.
Yes.
Well, I feel Brodka, yeah, that's a Polish name.
Yeah, in Polish would be Brudka. but
Rutka.
yeah. So
That'd be the correct way to pronounce it. Yeah.
that's all right. Nobody really says it that way here, but
So wait, is there other girl skaters from Poland too that they're trying to make the team as well?
there are a couple that skate street really
Yeah.
well. Right now in Poland, it's mostly street skating and plazas. There aren't too many great transition parks, but it's growing all the time. But it's just been cool to be supported and to be able to do all these events and try to get into Tokyo 2020.
How many get picked? Is it 2 from each country? 2 girls, 2 guys?
It's 20 total. So not every country's guaranteed a spot.
Wow, I didn't know how they were doing that because I know with surfing it's been a little crazy how they've been deciding it's going to be 2 girls, 2 women, or 2 girls, 2 guys.
Yeah, so
to
it's
make it.
3 maximum, but you still have to be within a certain ranking. So they're not going to take more than 20 total, but if you're the
20 girls or 20 guys? 20 girls and 20 guys, right?
Yeah, 20 for each discipline. 20
Okay.
girls in park, 20 girls in street, 20
Oh,
guys
I
in
see,
park.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm competing in women's park, and basically 20 maximum. But if you're maybe the 4th or 5th best from your country, there's no luck for you because they only take the top 3
Yeah.
from a country.
And that's different because I know with snowboarding it's, you'll take 4. You can have 4 actually representing 4 girls or 4 guys. So I know it's been a little bit different because it's new to the Olympics.
Yeah, it's new and it's not really an official Olympic sport. It's just been picked by the host country. So it's kind of it's on a much smaller scale.
But it's still Olympic gold, silver, and bronze handed out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what snowboarding was in '98, I think, when it was in Japan. Because it
Oh.
wasn't, it was in, but it wasn't, it was just getting started in its infancy stage, right? So
Yeah, so it's there are definitely a lot of new challenges facing all of the skaters and organizers in order to try to make skateboarding as organized as a typical Olympic sport might be. So it's definitely been interesting, but
well, then, and we talk about that, the size of the bowl, first of all, and the elements in the bowl, because a standard Olympic size half pipe for snowboarding is 22 feet. So they all have to be that exact same. So
Yeah.
how do you judge a bowl that has different corners, wall rides, different sections?
well, it's actually not called bowl. They call it park.
Yeah.
And it contains elements of a bowl and different elements like bank ramps
Yeah.
and love seats, and usually it's a lot more spread out than a bowl, but some of the events we've done so far are basically a bowl, but they're still calling it park.
Like Dew Tour,
And,
like Dew Tour in Long Beach.
Dew Tour, yeah, they called it park, but it was basically a bowl that had like a bank and an extension in
Yeah,
it.
it had
so,
the bank extension.
So it's just different forms of transition in one, and actually I've had a really fun time kind of adapting to that format because there's always like really cool and interesting features in all the parks that we go to now. So I think it's a really good step in transition skating.
But everything has to be uniform, not like with the Olympics. Like
No,
it doesn't.
definitely not.
Yeah, because
Nothing is uniform. Like
you
we'll
can't-
show up.
You can't do it. Yeah.
We showed up to a park in Sao Paulo a couple weeks ago, and it was like kind of your standard park series type park because Vans built it. So, 9.5 feet at most, and then like 6 feet at the least, and it has to have like a spine and a bank and a love seat. But then the next competition is like in a pretty small bowl in Rio, and it's basically, one would call it a bowl because it just has like a round deep end and then
Sick.
kind of a smaller shallow end. So that's the interesting part about it. You have to be really adaptable in order to skate these. Like if you're a vert skater, like I come from a vert background, you kind of find yourself screwed at all these like small transitions, but it's definitely fun. It keeps you on your toes and you're always skating new different things.
I'll tell you, that's why I like street so much better nowadays, because I can take my time. Oh, let me think. I can do this trick over here, so I'll try that. And let me see what else I want to do. Maybe I'll do that instead of going wall, 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 wall.
Yeah, and
You know,
you have
you
to
just
like
get
keep your
tired.
speed
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
maintain your line, and it's definitely been interesting, especially because the practice sessions usually they're really short, and they're like 20 people at once, and they all are really going for it, so they just drop in on you. It's been a bit ruthless. It's been interesting.
Okay, I didn't want to say anything, but I noticed that at Dew Tour at practice,
Oh gosh.
and I felt like the Japanese team, was really like hogging the entire bowl.
They have signals. Like
Yeah.
basically, if they're all in a practice session together, no one else is dropping in. Like when one girl's almost out or finished, she like signals to the next girl that it's her turn to go. And like we try to pick up on what they are, but by the time we pick up on what they are, like the next girl's already in. Or like one girl's kick turning in one end or doing tricks in one end, and she signals to her friend that she can use the other end. It's wild because we only have
Holy crap!
Sometimes we only have half an hour
Oh
of a
my
practice
gosh.
session, and it's just
That is crazy. That is so crazy.
I don't blame them because we only have so little time, and everybody
Yeah.
wants to do well, right? And everybody
and you're the
wants to skate.
And you're the host country.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to that, you're the host country. You need to do good. And
Yeah,
it's
they
always,
need to.
It's always good when the host country does good at Olympics.
Yeah, and I think that Japan is putting a lot of resources into it. I mean, not only because they're there, but you could tell by the talent and just the development of the skaters there.
Oh, yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Well, you see it in snowboarding too with them too. They're all across the board too. So, okay, recommendations for, let's say, a young girl. She's messing around a little bit on a skateboard. She wants to get into skateboarding a little bit more. What would you give her advice? Like someone watching this right now who's like, I really want to skate more, like just like you were when you saw Lindsay.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
I'd say don't listen to what anybody might tell you if it's negative. If it's positive, take it in. Find some friends, especially other girls, because that creates like a more inclusive environment. But just don't be shy and find some friends to really kind of play with on a skateboard, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You should be enjoying it, and a lot of it is about the community and the relationships that you make through the sport. So just find some friends and have fun.
And the Instagram one more time for people to follow you guys.
At Exposure Skate.
At Exposure Skate. Do that. All right. Well, Amelia Brutka, or how do you say it in Polish?
Brutka.
Amelia Brutka with us, and that's going to wrap things up here. We'll be back with more Clash in full effect. 888 Clash Clairemont.
Thank you.
stretch now, man.
We are.
Yeah. You've been. Andy came up. He's like, "Is Brad taking a break?" I'm like, "He walked away for like 5 minutes, and that was it. He's been crushing it, dude." He's like, "Well, does he need a break?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't think so. He seems all right, but go take a break." Oh, dude. Clutch. This is the formula. You know, like this is.
You got a good setup now.
Thanks. I mean, this is all, you know, I'm all self-funded. You know, it's not like I have a corporate budget or all this shit I bought, you know? Out of pocket. Yeah, this is my passion, you know?
It's getting easier to do as technology is better.
Yeah. Well, it's constantly keeping up with it too, you know? It's like people want more, you know?
We have those, like, we'll do the college classics for snowboarding. We're using, like, those, what are they, the Terradex?
Yeah.
Or the white ones? Like,
Yep.
We're bouncing signals, we're trying to run 3 webcasts.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
It's like no budget at all either. It's like,
It's all about having the right gear and the knowledge to use it. That's what it comes down to.
well, I gotta tell you, I'm working on a billion dollar project right now in Tennessee called the Velocity Resort. And it's gonna be all skate, surf, snowboard, mountain bike.
Oh, man.
Like a Disneyland of action sports.
Wow.
We just got approval for the state of Tennessee. We're trying to get the land right now. We've already got the agree to sell, so we're getting funders right now for it. This thing's happened. We're going to have plug and play everywhere. Every course will be already line drums. We'll be able to fucking plug and camera in everywhere and shooting. Everything will be set up.
I've never had that. I run all my own stuff.
Because that way we attract companies who want to come in. Give me a guy who works for a crew and make it all happen. Because what's going to attract X Games in is they don't have to fucking pay to run everything.
Yeah.
Because $3 million setup costs.
Oh, yeah.
We got people who want to do events.
Hey, I'd love to get on board. Just let me know what I can do to get involved. Yeah, for sure.
I might be moving there as soon as like June of next year.
Oh, wow. Dude, that'd be sick, man. That'd be sick.
My whole plan is I want it all. Like I want you to be able to do a downhill mountain bike race, and you've got 7 cameras that can just fucking plug in.
That's crazy.
Your switcher is in the same move. He's switching for the move. Camera to camera to camera. All perfectly done. You're not running shit.
Hell yeah.
And we got used to it in Whistler. When they did the Olympics, they ran fiber optics for everything.
Oh, nice.
So the first 2 years, after Whistler, everything was killer. And then as they started plowing and moving shit, they got more up. So now it's back to where it was.
Right.
So if you build that shit and build it in, who cares?
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow, that dude. Yeah, keep me posted, man.
Like when I worked at the NBA, like I worked for the Clippers, we have plug-ins all over the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm doing something with the fans, I just plug in on the entrance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Feeding everything.
Well, that's the idea. That's kind of what I do here, you know? I mean, but yeah, that's awesome.
We'll talk more about it.
All right. Yeah, no, please. Yeah, that's great.
Perfect for that. I'm trying to find Walmart people who are places and how to do it.
Cool, man. Yeah, let me know how I can help. I'd love to be a part of the team.
What time are we off the air? 6:30?
Hard stop at 6. We'll basically just do our last call. Thanks to all the sponsors. Get home safely. See you next year.
Are you going that thing tonight?
I'm not sure. I might.
No, I don't want to be shitty tomorrow. That's the other thing. People want to go tonight.
Oh, for the party tomorrow?
Yeah, well, no, 'cause I'm probably not going to go to that party.
Oh.
I got to drive to Idaho the next couple of days.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying to figure out what my plan is.
Yeah, that's a haul.
But
That's
if
a
I
haul.
go to that party tonight, I'm going to feel like shit tomorrow, but I wanted to surf tomorrow. I surfed on the way down yesterday.
We don't bounce back like we used to, man.
Oh, it takes me 2 days.
Same here. Same here.
I mean, I had 3 beers last night at that party, and one vodka tonic. Now it's lovely. 2 slices of pizza and some fries, and I was like, I still felt a little like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I might not go tonight. I might not go. This thing looks fun right here.
Yeah, I was skating it a little bit when we were setting up the first day.
I want to tail transfer that little spine so bad right now.
That's what my buddy and I were trying to do. Hop over it.
Because I don't lap over, right? Tail transfer.
a case of water around here somewhere. I'm good. Thank you. Hey, there you go.
It looks like they're yours.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's so funny. Like, Oakley was doing this in like 82, 83, frog skating, but I had a pair.
It all comes back.
Yeah, it all comes around.
Just cycled. Dude, I don't know about what. We're just going to go. We're going to talk about the event. Yeah, let's do it. All right, in the booth, here we are. Some beautiful faces, or at least one beautiful face. Michael Laren.
What up?
Yeah, is with me right now. Michael, how you doing, sir?
Good, man. How about you?
Good, man. You always got a smile on your face.
Dude, I'm with it, man.
You're infectious when it comes to that.
Thanks, man.
What's that all about? You're always a happy guy.
I think, when it comes down to it, man, it's like, I think there's a transition with having, gone through some stuff and then being in this position to have just a little bit more gratitude for today, And so, everything with this whole event, man, has been so amazing, and the purpose of why we're here and just spreading awareness, hanging out, and just having that kind of continuity with ourselves and everybody else that's involved has been a really cool thing. So.
And you got the ride too today. Like you rode the BMX Jam earlier.
Yeah.
And then you got in the Vert Jam.
That was fun too. Yeah.
So how fun is that to be out here? It's not like an X Games pressure competition. You're out here just having fun.
Yeah.
Riding with your bros and having a good time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man, because that's the reason why we started, right? So then we get to a point where it just becomes this substance where you can draw from, you know what I mean? And like the Bird Jam is just crazy because it's like people like Tony and Andy and McGill and Cavs up there, and it's so crazy to me to think, man, because like these are people that as a kid I was like aspiring to get to that level, and if it was skateboarding or BMX, like I grew up skating too, so it's kind of like a pinch myself moment, every single time we have those sessions. So it's been fun.
So what is up for you as far as competition wise? Are you competing a lot still, or what's going on?
Yeah, a ton. And it's nice. I mean, like the season's kind of closing out, which is nice. So now you get to work on a couple film projects and stuff like that. But to be honest, man, it's like we were talking about that earlier, like getting on the surfboard a little bit more and all that stuff. So this season's now is going to be really fun to kind of transition to that.
So how is it, when it the video parts are important. You got to have good video parts nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You got to have them. So how is it to motivate yourself after, a year of just competing and doing shows, and all of a sudden, now I got to put together an edit when I just really want to just take my shoes off and go to the beach?
I think it's a balance, right? Because like you can do, I guess for me, the flavor of like a video part versus the preparation to do that versus the flavor of like preparing for a contest is two totally different palettes.
My gosh, it's got to be so different.
Yeah. So it's fun because like you can be way outside the box, creative, take your time. There's no pressure, in that, and you might have a timeline, but when it comes down to it, man, it's like you get to, have this blank canvas and paint and just do your thing, which is awesome. So you can draw from different inspirations and color and all this different stuff, and you got a finished product. And I always think of it like cooking, right? So it's like I can go from like, all right, I'm just using salt and pepper versus a whole rack of seasoning, man. So I get amped up by that stuff. So it's not like too stressful really. It's just something fun to create.
Let's talk a little bit about BMX and the inclusion of BMX Park in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So how was that? What was your thoughts when you heard that going down?
That's a good question, man. There's been a mix of emotions from everybody.
I've heard it all, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that my angle is this, and if there's one kid that's in Arkansas that's never even seen BMX or skateboarding, right? Most times they would have seen something like that.
By now, but yeah.
Right, with like social media and whatnot.
Sure.
So if there's a kid that's in Arkansas or somewhere like in the middle of nowhere that hasn't seen action sports, and all of a sudden they turn on, the TV and they're just like, oh, that's crazy. This is in the Olympics. I want to be a part of that. That's pretty cool. In that way, I think it's awesome. I think that when it comes down to, adding a little bit more like corporation on top of what we have as freestyle, I think that kind of like grinds people's gears a lot. But I think my heart's just in the inspiring kids, man, to be stoked on something in life. And if it was Olympics, X Games, if it was local skate park or whatever it might be, events like this, Vans Pro Cup, you got all these different things that are happening. I'm just trying to get kids stoked, you know what I mean? Like, and if they get stoked on that,
Trying to spread the word.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what we're trying to do, to get more kids riding BMX bikes, more kids riding skateboards.
Yeah, man. Because I want to be like, if I'm 70, I want to turn the TV on and be like, all right, tight. You know, it doesn't have to be the Olympics or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's still spreading is cool. So, yeah.
So how cool is this? We got Mike V, is the lead
Dude.
singer for Black Flag right now, performing while these guys are skating.
Amazing, man. Who would have thought? Dude, today has been so crazy. It's been such an awesome event, man.
I mean, it's just hard to believe that such a fun event like this. I feel like some competitions, the fun gets taken out of them.
Sometimes.
It's all serious
Yeah.
sometimes. But I feel like this is just all about fun.
I agree.
All about promoting it and
Yeah.
all about the cause, what Grind for Life's all about. too.
100%, yep. And it's just such a cool event, man, to have something like this be not the first time. It's like 12th year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, man, and it keeps getting better every single year, you know?
And now look, a webcast for the first time ever. You
So
know?
sick, man.
They've
So
never
sick.
had a webcast.
Yeah, life's good, man. Like, this is a really cool event, and everybody hanging out outside the bowl and
Yeah.
just kicking it, like, good energy, man.
It's a party. We thank Steve Weed Media for doing all the video production and actually putting this webcast together.
Heck yeah.
Steve Weed, we wouldn't be out here doing this. And I've been part of this event for a few years. And when I heard there's a webcast, I was like, yeah, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Heck
I'll
yeah.
volunteer my time to come out here and do
Yeah,
this.
man.
It's all good.
It's a good
So,
event.
your take is you're okay with seeing it go in because it will expose BMX or skateboarding to someone else who may live in an area that doesn't see it, right? So you're okay with that.
Yeah, just that. I mean, that's my angle, man. And at the end of the day, like, I think that some people can draw it out of context, and that might be one thing where at the end of the day, it's like, if there's going to be a kid that's in the middle of nowhere that flips on the TV, checks it out and sees it, there's another platform at the end of the day. And on top of that, too, even if it does go to the Olympics, I believe wholeheartedly, like, there'll be so much structure in that eventually the athletes that are in that will gravitate back towards X Games. Because X Games has been the originator of it, you know what I mean? Like, that's freestyle, that's everything.
That's where it
embodies that, you know what I mean? So, so even though it might be there for now, like, I think later those guys will be like, I'm just trying to do my thing, like, and that's why we all started in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The way I take from it, because I'm older and I grew up seeing the Olympics was big. Like the Winter Olympics for me as a kid.
Yeah.
In the mid '80s was like to see like Bill Johnson ski off course and come back in and win a gold medal
crazy
for the USA. To me as a kid, I was glued. And Miracle on Ice in 1980, I saw when we won the gold in hockey. It was like those things stuck with me.
Yeah.
And then I got into action sports, after that, and I was skating and doing all that things. So I really didn't, Olympics wasn't even a thought for action sports.
Right.
But then when X Games came out, I was like, oh, look at this.
Huge, yeah.
This is like the Olympics of action sports now. This is finally something to see. So
yeah.
Grew up loving it, watching it. And so for me to see it come in, I'm happy. And yeah, I get employed by going to announce on the Olympics to do these events, but there's no way the Olympics or anyone can screw up a sport or a lifestyle that you've done if you don't let it.
Right.
How's a corporation going to screw it up if you still got your bike?
Yep.
All right, and a corporation saying, no, you must do this, you must do this, you must be in the Olympics, but you and your friends go on your bikes, find a cool spot, and just ride for like hours. Is that fun? Or do the Olympics ruin that?
Right.
No, because it has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because it's you having fun doing what you like to do.
Yeah, and if you can protect that, you're good. And I think some people might, that's what I meant before about them drawing it out of context, because those people might feel like, oh, well, I have to X, Y, Z. They have that list. And if they embody that, then at that point you're kind of taking yourself outside of it, and you're like you're letting it kind of run you, But if you can stay true to yourself and why you started and all that stuff, then it's just another thing that you get to try,
We all did it just because you had fun doing it.
Only
with
reason.
Your friends.
The only reason,
It wasn't like, oh man, I can't wait because BMX someday is going to make it to the Olympics and I'm going to be riding it.
Yeah, and some people that's an angle,
Yeah.
And which is, to each their own for sure. But at the end of the day, it's like, you slam 14 times, and that 15th time is going to be the time that you landed. Like, do you really want it that bad? And for the people that are like, oh yeah, like I'm going to do it on TV one day, blah, 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 like they'll probably stop at 6. But because you love it so much, you're like, dude, I'm willing to slam. Like, that's okay. Like, because you're under, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I don't, not at my age now, I don't know what you mean, but at that age, yes, I know what you mean, because I didn't care. I slam, get up, let's do it again. I get it.
Yeah, man.
I'll get it this time. I got this.
Yep. It's so much fun, man.
So, Are you trying to pursue a spot? Are you trying?
No, like it's BMX Park, and like I grew up riding park a ton. When I fell into vert and big air, like I fell in love with that so much, man. And I hadn't rode park a ton, so I did my first park comp at X Games last year, and that was great, man. I think that the level of competition that those guys were riding at, I have a little bit of a different style and approach to what I have fun with. So if I was gonna do the contest series and get points and like get in the mix and all that stuff, I would have had to start it last year. So for me, it's like I would enjoy watching it 100% and like support the dudes that are having fun with it. But
who do you think though? Who do you think out of, if you had to pick 4 names for the guys?
Dude, that's tough. I mean,
who has it for the USA? For the US?
Yeah, I mean that's tough. I mean, like guys like Pat Casey or guys like Dennis Anderson. Yeah. I mean, like, and I don't know how interested they are, but like Daniel Sandoval, like he's another one that he just rips so hard, and it could be anybody's game, to be honest. But when it comes down to it, it's like same for skating. It's like where does it match up,
Well, I think that the talent pool, what they're choosing from, is such a huge talent pool where you're only getting so many names.
Right.
So the problem is they're not getting a lot. I think what is it? For skating, I heard it's 20 total girls per park and 20 total guys.
Yeah.
That's all countries.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
that's like pretty slimmed down.
Yeah, that's pretty slimmed down.
Yeah.
What do you think about BMX racing still being like an Olympic sport?
I think it's amazing, man. I remember watching that when I was like when it came out. Yeah, and I was sitting at home. I'm like, dude, that's so sick. They got BMX in it now. And I did a lot of grassroots. Like I grew up riding dirt, raced a little bit, and then it became freestyle. I'm like, all right, well, I want to change this dirt lip and start jumping and doing tricks and all that stuff. And so growing up like that, I think having that kind of familiarity with BMX racing has always been tried and true. So I think with them, they got a lot of stuff too where they go really, really hard in the paint, if you will, with the dynamics of like their approach and in the gym, and like it's very structured to be an athlete.
Wow, it was never like that, but now it is like that.
Yeah,
it's serious.
You know what I'm saying? So
nutritionists,
yeah, they're going off, man. Yeah, and respect, man, because I think they really test the limits of what their body can do. Versus now with like freestyle, I'm like again blank canvas trying to paint some stuff, So it's a little bit more of a creative process versus tried and true like methodical, regimen. So it's a balance.
So big air, you're really just loving it now.
Dude, I love it, man. Like, if I could bottle that.
Yeah, dude, you're not just scared at shit being up there. Dropping in on that thing, man.
I am. Like, I just try to challenge it. Like, the fear part's always there, but.
Probably the first jump is probably the hardest when you first get to like your first practice day. Like,
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we started opening up the tower, like doing the step down.
Yeah.
And when we started opening that up, I mean, every time I do it, it's different, which is wild. But at the same point in time, like, just like some of the best things in life are right on the other side of fear, right? So it's like I get so gassed up on that. I'm like, dude, all right, if I do this and then I roll away from it, I'm gonna be ear to ear smiling. You know what I mean? So. I think it's such a cool opportunity, man. In big air, I've never felt those kind of G's or that speed or anything like that in my life.
My God.
Or slams too, because like even every time I slam, dude,
you slam big on those things.
Yeah, so I think that's like such a raw, like it's hard to harness it, but when you do, it's amazing.
So the one time when it was in Los Angeles and had the big air inside Staples Center.
Yeah.
I remember I go, you know what? I'm just gonna drop in on the landing just to see what's up. So I grabbed my skate.
Yeah.
Walked to the very top and just rolled in all the way down to the quarter pipe and went up the quarter pipe and did my kick turn and came down. But I remember expecting the transition to be like a vert transition.
Ooh, yeah.
And be quicker.
Yeah.
And it was like slow. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, when do I turn now? I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing I'd ever felt because I'd never skated such a big transition.
Sure.
Because of a 12-foot vert ramp or 10, 12, 11-foot vert ramp,
you're cruising.
Yeah, you know the tranny.
Yeah.
You're used to that tranny, but when you go to that quarter pipe,
yeah,
it's just that slow.
So slow.
Build to the.
Well, how'd you feel with the speed?
I felt okay because I just dropped in from there.
Okay.
And I had the trucks just cranked down.
Okay, that was my next question.
Because I didn't want to mess around.
Speed wobbles, man. That's no joke, dude.
Yeah, and I wasn't wearing pads, so I was like, okay, you do not want to roll down the quarter pipe.
No, man. I mean, you can slide down, but it's one of those things where it's just like no pads or you're going to get burnt up.
Yeah.
So that's so crazy. So on a skateboard, I feel like, obviously, like coming into it, you can't stop. You could brake check on a bike, right? If you have brakes.
No, you're committed.
So on a skateboard, like, I feel like there is a level of respect that I've always had for it where you're just in it. You're in the groove, right?
Yeah, it's like bombing a hill, too.
Yeah, right. So at that point, I mean, like, do you find that there's more of a freedom, like to land something, like say mega ramp, you're trying that for the first time? Like what kind of like difference did you have after you'd done that for the first time? Like was it more freeing, or you're like, skip that, I ain't never doing that again?
No, I did it again, but it gave me an appreciation for what I'm seeing, for what you guys, when you're riding it or when someone's skating it, to see what you're going through, because up until that time, I'd probably called 4 contests and never realized the transition was that much difference than a vert transition.
Yeah.
I thought, it's just all the same. I didn't look at the numbers or any of that stuff. So it just made me respect it that much more.
Yeah.
And having the quarter pipe after the gap is like, I mean,
it's so fast.
You're so committed no matter what you do, you've got to go.
Yeah.
And
Respect, man.
Yeah, it's a mad respect for you guys doing that.
Appreciate it, man.
And it takes a different mindset to compete in big air.
I heard that. Somebody said that before. They were like, you guys are crazy, like a little bit, but you guys got some screws loose, a little bit, And I just think you have
You're
to want to be
a pretty smart guy.
Yes.
So I think that you would get out of it if it was like super gnar, but
yeah, you got to want to do it, man. That's it.
You got to, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
If it becomes a job and you have to work to drop in on the mega ramp, like, you've already defeated yourself.
Hang it up, yeah, man. So, but it's with anything else, like we started off jumping curbs. And going from curbs to cinder blocks, and then cinder block ramps to garbage cans, and then so on. And so it's built up to this thing now, which is amazing. But even this event, man, like just having like the event be what it is, and I mean, Clash of Clairemont's always been tried and true. So the fact that it's this big and that many people have come through the doors today, epic,
Yeah.
So
I remember when I first cleared a tire on my BMX bike. I remember it was a little run-in jump.
Yeah.
And then I stood the tire up on its side, and I'd never done it. And the feeling that I had for just being able to clear out of a little ditch and clear a tire without touching it and land solid and not land on the back wheel, just land solid and roll away.
Heck yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest, best feelings I've ever felt on a bike.
I bet.
Besides also doing mountain bike stuff too as well, but that one right there was a big one for me.
And isn't that crazy too? Because then you wire that in your memory.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, that one moment, And the same with skateboarding.
like
First kickflip.
25 years ago.
First this and that, like that's epic, man.
Oh, the first kickflip down 3 stairs. I mean,
same thing, right?
Never ever duplicated that again.
Yep.
And it probably took me 200 tries to get it, but I got it.
That's so epic.
And it might have been 2 stairs, but it grows. It's another stair by the time I get a little older.
Yeah, man. I love it.
It might be a 12 stair in 10 years.
Dude. And that's the thing. You just keep building, right? So I just get stoked. Even because I grew up skating a little bit. I remember watching, Cheese and Crackers.
Oh, yeah.
And that video changed my life. I'm like, you can do that on a skateboard? That's crazy. So to see the progression of where skateboarding's at today.
Plan B questionable was that way for me, too.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Yep.
Like, seeing Pat Duffy skate rails in the rain was like...
insane.
Like, first of all, rails were just starting to get big.
Yeah.
And skating in the rain, like, are you crazy?
You're right.
You can't skate in the rain.
Way outside the box.
Nobody skates in the rain.
Yeah.
So also let's talk about Mike Rogers and Grind for Life.
Yeah.
So when you got the opportunity to come out here, I mean, how does that make you feel to come out here and put on a show in front of these people and knowing what this whole thing is meaning and what it goes for?
Yeah, I think it's huge, man. And this is the thing. When it comes down to having an impact, like, I think that's the most valuable currency that exists on this planet. And to be amongst all these people that want to give back, dude, it's amazing. That's the biggest thing. So.
And you can do it. Like, if you're watching the webcast right now, you just have to click the button 3 times. You can donate it, and you can do it right now.
100%, yeah.
And if you're sitting there watching and you're enjoying it, why not?
Yeah.
Whatever you can afford. Don't break the bank.
Right.
Obviously, it's going to make you not pay your rent next month or something. But
a little bit goes a long way.
And I've told the story. When my son was diagnosed at 7 years old with leukemia and given 82% chance of surviving, a year and a half later, Mike Rogers stepped in, sent me just a box full of skate stuff for my kids,
That's
boards,
awesome.
shirts, wheels, everything he could send, he sent it to us. And then he's offering, like, do you need money to pay bills? Do you need anything? Because I know you guys are going through treatment. And I didn't need all that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he stepped up
to reach out,
I brought my son here that same year. He was bald from cancer treatment.
Yeah.
He got to be out here and see Grind for Life. He got signatures from Tony Hawk, everybody.
Dude, that's
Simon
awesome.
was here. Simon Tepper signed his board and stuff. And I came back from that, and I look at it now. He's a healthy 15-year-old son. I skate with him. I surf with the guy, and he's as big as me now. And I'm like, I look back on those days, and I forget about that. But if it's not guys like Grind for Life that step in, it's just so hard to even realize. Like, you're alone in that situation.
Right.
And Mike Rogers was like the first guy to ring the phone and say, what do you need, man?
That's amazing, man.
Like, and it was like, we have Grind for Life all over our house, and I'll never forget him for it. So that's why when they called and said, will you come out here? And I was like,
Down, yeah.
I don't need any money.
Yeah.
I don't even need gas money. I will be there. Give me a hotel, because those are expensive in San Diego.
No, dude, but that's respect, man. You know, and that's what it comes down to, character. You know, and I think a lot of people get so self-infused and focused, especially with social media nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody's so focused on themselves, and then you got people like Mike, Grind for Life, that really reach out in that situation. And I appreciate you sharing that, man. Like that's literally one of those things. Like that's what it's about.
And that's
helping each other. You know what I mean?
And you look at what he's gone through. Now, he's not just an average guy helping people.
Yeah.
He went through it, and he's battled it twice. And beat it.
Twice.
And he still skates,
Yeah.
and he still surfs, and he still does all the things he did before. He's not quite good at snowboarding.
Yeah.
But he just rocks it, and it's like, I'm going to help people. I'm not going to feel sorry for himself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and help the rest of the world. And that's what he does.
That's it, man.
And that's what Grind for Life's all about.
100%. And that's the thing, because at the end of the day, adversity is the foundation for a character. That dude's gone through it 10 times over, and now he's at this point where he can give back. Like, what else do you want? You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing.
So what's up for next year? You're going to do some videos. You're going to shoot, right? Some edits?
A little bit of filming, a little bit of stuff, kind of getting ready for X Games next year and all that stuff. I'm just stoked, man, to be in the mix, dude. I'm healthy. I'm stoked. Just trying to create more stuff. I've been slowly working on writing a book and all that stuff too. So in the midst of everything, like riding, enjoying life.
You writing a book?
And slowly, just writing a book.
Michael.
Yeah, man.
The big brain on Michael. He's writing books and stuff.
Slowly, yeah. I just think that it's fun, man. If we got one shot, one at bat at life, man. Like I just want to be able to take full advantage of the things that I'm into, and I don't know, man. If it's events like
You're
this.
a good person, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
You're definitely a good person.
Appreciate you, brother.
Michael, Instagram name so people can follow you?
Yeah, Instagram's just Michael Larin, MykelLarin. Same for Twitter.
YouTube page?
No YouTube page or anything like that. Just Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. That's about it. But
There's too many. TikTok? What, you got that?
No. But yeah, that's fun, man. I appreciate you having me out.
Good to see you out here. Good to see you out there ripping and doing it for the right cause, man.
Cheers, brother.
Hey, I'm going to be the first one to buy your book. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Michael Larin, professional BMX rider in the booth, man. More coming up. Enjoy all the action. It's all happening right now here. 888 Grind for Life. You got it.
I was 10 years old when I first started skateboarding. When I needed help, I got it from other skateboarders. And that's what inspired me to help other people through skateboarding. I started Grind for Life in 2004 to help people who are traveling long distances for cancer care. Through skateboarding, we've helped over 350 families get the care they need. It means a lot to me because I'm also a 2-time cancer survivor. Please visit grindforlife.org. There's different companies out there, they have flashy logos and marketing campaigns, but we're strictly about skateboarding and no bullshit. You know, some other brand, we know what they are. Dude, slippery as like, just wash out on the flat bottom. Boom, there goes your head. Or boom, there goes your wrist. Crazy voodoo magic. I don't know what they put in this, but it does not slip. It has just the right amount of grip and give, and we've had it on our ramp for over 4 or 5 months now, and we haven't had to mop it a single time.
These guys went to school to build robots, but walking around campus was slow and boring. So the trio got to work. Whoa. They hashed out some tech stuff and invented an electric skateboard type thing.
She's pretty, right?
They made some tweaks,
Right now?
built a brand, and unleashed the world's most powerful and portable electric skateboard. This is just the beginning.
I was 10 years old when I first started skateboarding. When I needed help, I got it from other skateboarders. And that's what inspired me to help other people through skateboarding. I started Grind for Life in 2004 to help people who are traveling long distances for cancer care. Through skateboarding, we've helped over 350 families get the care they need. It means a lot to me because I'm also a 2-time cancer survivor. Please visit grindforlife.org.
You just probably out.
Yeah, we're good.
There you go.
I can hear me. I can hear Brad.
Cool.
That's all that matters.
We can hear each other. All right. Well, we are back in the booth. Yes, this familiar face. Brad J. I've been here forever. Andy McDonald, dude, how are you still standing? You've been skating all day. You took second place out there in the skate cross.
Surprise. I wasn't even going to skate. I was just going to be like the alternate floating around and trying to help run the races and everything. And then
I didn't think that was cool if you did not skate because I know that you're good at that. And it's like,
this is my baby. Skatercross is my baby for sure.
You want to see the best at it. And seeing you get in there and compete.
And we had one of the best races, me and Liam.
And at 47 years old, is that what you are now?
46.
46.
Easy.
Oh, wait, when's your birthday?
46. In July, I'll be 47.
So okay. So 46, and you're keeping up with the kids out there.
Am I 47? I can't remember. I hit my head a lot.
Maybe we can ask your daughter. Does she know?
Hey, Natalie, am I 46 or 47?
Natalie, how old's your dad?
Yeah, okay. 46. I had it right.
You know you're in trouble when you're asking a kid how old you are. All right, tell me, look, you've been a pro skateboarder for, my God, so many years now. Tell me how the Mike Rogers kind of relationship with Grind for Life kind of developed over the years for you.
So I was riding for Powell, and Mike Rogers was running the West Palm Beach YMCA Skatepark. He was the skatepark director there. This is back in 2003, and I knew him through Chris Conway, who is a Floridian as well, and he had just finished this crazy surgery to try and beat his cancer for the second time. And Mike had good insurance through the YMCA. It paid for his surgery, but in order to get that treatment, Mike went broke. He had to cash in his retirement to fly back and forth to New York. He lives in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and he got his treatment at Sloan up in New York. So hotels and flights back and forth for all his treatments, and then this crazy surgery. He went broke. So Chris Conway was like, hey, let's do an event at the Y to try and do a fundraiser, get you back on your feet. They called it Grind for Life. And me and Steve Caballero showed up, and we skated the bowls, and we raised a bunch of money to get Mike Rogers back on his feet. And Mike was just like, ding, like, this is my niche. This is my calling. Like, I have a second chance at life.
Wow.
Like, through the wonders of modern medicine. Mike Rogers, they rebuilt him. They took his cancer out. He's 15 years cancer-free, and ever since then, he's like, I have to keep doing this specifically to raise money to get people to their cancer treatments. And it's crazy to think that even people that, like, cancers that are, like, there's a lot of cancers that are curable, right? There's treatments for cancers, but people are like, I can't get, I can't afford it, basically. Even if you have insurance, I can't afford to get, and you're like, this is life or death stuff. Like, you have to be able to afford it to get to your treatment, but the treatments that you need aren't necessarily where you live, right? So what Grind for Life does is specializes in getting people to their treatments, whether it's here's a $100 gas card, whether it's here's a plane ticket, like here, get to your treatment. A really small organization, it's all volunteer. There's no executive director. It's Mike Rogers and a bunch of volunteers. And I'm on the board of directors, and we just scrap together whatever we can. And here we are 15 years into it, and we're raising money through big skateboard events like this.
Well, I like what you bring up about getting to treatments and stuff, and by firsthand, dealing with my son going through his treatment. You think about just getting them to the treatment or getting that personal treatment, but it's not only that, it changes the whole life of everyone. So your work schedule changes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything changes. You make less money, and you have to get places. And people don't think about, you need a hotel to go to Los Angeles or New York to stay there. You can't spend 3 days at a $200 hotel.
Yep.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
And the gas and all that stuff, like, so.
And insurance, even if you're fully covered, insurance isn't paying that stuff.
It's not covering that.
And
especially if you're working less, you think about it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You're making less money, and you need more money to do it, but yet you need mental support for the person you're helping fight the battle.
This disease has touched. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody, just like out on the street. Like, have you been touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form? Do you know somebody? Do you have a friend? Do you have a relative? Someone in the family? Like, always, it's touched everybody. This disease. And so Mike Rogers is just, doing great work. And not to mention, we do it here at the YMCA. I've been a part of the YMCA since I can remember. After school program back in Boston, Massachusetts. I finished school and I went to the Y. And I played pool and I swam in the pool and I did You know, learned to
That's
play
why
basketball, and
That's why on the Tony Hawk tours in 2000, 2001, 2002, we went to Y's.
Yeah.
Because you guys always went to the Y's. I like it now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Village people did a song about it.
I know,
so-
right? I mean, no, I graduated high school, and I drove from Boston to San Diego, and I went directly to the YMCA because that's where the skate park was. So.
And that's kind of how, because it was the insurance situation.
Yeah, back in the day, YMCA's could get insurance and have skate parks. This skate park, the Mission Valley YMCA skate park, it happens to be in Clairemont. Now, it's been with that YMCA, the Mission Valley Y, has had a skate park in one form or another since the late 1980s. It's the longest running skate park in Southern California.
SoCal, yeah.
So it's awesome to join the Grind for Life charity and the YMCA nonprofit and make this great event. We're here 12 years, and this is the biggest, best year for sure.
I just can't believe to where it's gone, and what a cool vibe at the event too that people get into out here. But tell me about the Krause family and their involvement in making more happen here.
So this is the Krause family skate and bike park through Mission Valley Y. The Mission Valley Y had a couple other satellite locations, and then this park where we are now, it's a 60,000 square foot skate park, and it's a joint effort between the city of Clairemont, the YMCA, and the school next door that leases us this land for $1 a year for a 100-year lease. So the three of those came together and said, we're going to provide for our community. The city of Clairemont wanted a skate park. The YMCA needed a place to put their park, and we set out. I was on the board of directors of the YMCA at the time, and we set out to start raising money to build this skate park. And I went to the Krause family, and they kicked in. They kicked in big time. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do this off the ground. In 2002, I designed the whole park, and since then, we've redesigned the whole park 3 or 4 times over. It's 60,000 square foot park, but it's all made of wood. So with the exception of the cement bowl that we're watching right now, the rest of the park is wood. So it's kind of neat because you can always be changing it. You know, we're right here next to the ocean. You know, the ramps get worn, they get starting to get rotted out, but we can change time. You know, each section of the park. So the last Clash of Clairemont we raised enough money to build the BMX section that you saw this morning on the webcast. That's brand new last year. After this event, we're going to build a brand new street course where the bleachers are, where everyone's watching Black Flag play.
The pictures I've seen.
Yeah. So half the gate from the people that came today will go to the YMCA, and half will go to support families with cancer trying to get to their treatments. So thanks to the Krause Family Y to get the YMCA started, and then around 2006, we needed a new vert ramp at the Y, and I got the X Games to kick in their vert ramps that they were building up in LA, and they donated it to the Y, and the Y was like, we want to have, you know, a grand reopening demo with all the guys that rode it at the X Games, you know, and I'm like, you can't afford that demo, like Matt Hoffman, Tony Hawk, like these guys all get paid appearance fees and stuff, but what about this? I work with Grind for Life. Let's make it a charity. All those guys know Mike Rogers and Grind for Life, and we'll invite them all to come for free, and we'll raise money for the YMCA and for Grind for Life. And so we did that back in 2006 and kicked it off, and it was hugely successful. I think at the time we had like 8 vendor booths, and like, you know, 1,500 people showed up or something, and it's just grown exponentially every year. And here we are. 12 years in, and we got Black Flag playing next to the bowl, and we've since raised over $250,000 for families with cancer, and so.
But isn't Grind for Life been working on a big facility for patients? And stuff?
The goal with Grind for Life is to build a wellness facility.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And because a lot of what Grind for Life does is educate through Mike's story about cancer survival. Like it's with you forever, as you can tell by looking at Mike Rogers. Like they told him he'd never walk again, and 18 weeks later he was skating again. And to this day, it's amazing to me that he can skate because he has one eye. So if you don't know, ever try put a patch over here and try and skate down the street. Like, you have no depth perception. It's really hard to do what he does skateboarding with one eye. And yeah,
I think that's why he likes
inspiration.
frontside. He was telling me, like,
yeah, because he can see going that way more.
Yeah, I like frontside.
One year at this event, we did a Skate Like Mike best trick contest, and all the pros put patches on their eyes and tried to drop in on the vert ramp to do a best trick contest.
Oh, no!
And it was rough. It was like you had to use your muscle memory. Like, some guys dropped, like Pierre-Luc put it on and was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not dropping it. It's just like, nah. It was really hard. And then Tony Hawk did a McTwist, like muscle memory. Like, I think he could do it with his eyes closed.
Yeah. Is Tony still doing sevens too?
he's claiming that he has lost that trick, and I'm like, no, you have not. Like, he did one for his 50 tricks for 50.
Yeah,
his 50th
I remember
birthday.
that.
That was the last 7 that I know that he did.
Wow, and you
So-
still got 7. So.
I got a 7 last weekend at another charity fundraiser we were doing with Tony Hawk. For us.
Boy, don't you worry about the day that they go away.
I know, dude. I don't know. It's just use it. Usually you won't lose it, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, there's certain tricks. Like, I was talking, to Steve Weed, our media guy, and I was like, just for board slides now, I just want flat curbs. Flat curbs. I can get on. I don't have to ollie to that thing. I'm not going to try and do anything.
Yeah.
And I used to love board slides, but it's like parks build them so big and gnarly. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get on that thing anymore.
I had an epiphany earlier this summer. I've been working with the guys from Boosted Boards who sponsor the Skatercross, and they're electric skateboards. You can just get on and go, brrr, like, and I was just riding it to the skate park or whatever, and one day somebody's like, ride it in the bowl, whatever. I was like, I'll try it. And like, I figured out that you can actually do it, right? And earlier this summer, we took it out to Woodward Copper, and they have a bowl at Woodward Copper.
Yeah,
and I dropped it on that thing. It's a mini bowl, but it's got this hip, and I like throttled like through the corner. I dropped in and like didn't pump at all, but I got on the throttle and I went through the corner and then flew a backslider over the hip like, brrr, and I was like, I'm gonna be able to skate until I'm like 70. Like, if I don't even have to pump. That was like,
Oh my goodness.
like, I can try these things.
Well, my son had got one, and I hadn't really tried it, and he goes, "Come on, just try it." And I go, I don't know. And I got on it, and I ran the battery out, and I was like,
that's the best part.
sorry.
Is like, the naysayers are just like, poo-poo that, and then they get on and they're like, oh, this thing's powerful. This thing's gnarly.
Especially like you said, like you commute. Like if you drop your car off to get worked on, and you're gonna ride back
just
home.
get in the bike lane and cruise down the 101.
It's like for me where I live, I'm like 2 miles to Rincon Point along the bike
go
lane.
check the surf.
1.5 miles the other way, so I can ride in any direction.
Yep.
Even the town of Carpinteria is like 4 miles from my house. I'm like, man, I could skate all the way there.
Yeah, and it's way funner than driving. It's way funner than sitting in traffic. People are like, oh, it's an expensive skateboard. I'm like, it's not a skateboard. This is like a cheap scooter. Like, this is like, it's electric. It's your environmentally conscious commuter.
Like an
you'll
e-bike.
drive so much less. Yeah, like an e-bike, but way funner.
Yeah, I mean, but there's guys like, I talked to some of the guys like old mountain bike guys who they've jumped on the e-bikes because they can now climb stuff that they couldn't climb anymore. So they're doing stuff and they're going places
And
they
they're
couldn't
still
get to.
riding, right? Yeah.
And that's the key about it.
Yeah.
So so Boosted, so you and Boosted are fully connected, sponsorship with them. Are you on their board? Or?
Yeah, I'm an employee of Boosted Boards. I'm working with the marketing department and trying to get the word out about, just these really cool new ways, basically last mile commuter. Like you take the train to work, you get off, there's still got 6 blocks to work.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
like too many people knock it without getting on one. And when I stepped on one, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I gave it to the guys from the 9 Club.
Yeah.
And they did a thing on it because they've been ripping it all around, whatever. And it's funny because like, people are like, electric skateboard, whatever, and they're super heavy, right? They're 16 pounds, so the most comfortable way to carry it is mall grab, right? So here you're carrying a mall grab, you got an electric skateboard. They're like, I'm in public, and they're like,
mall grab.
Yeah. But they're like, but I don't even care because they're so fun,
Yeah.
So it's just like they're all like, I knocked it, but then I tried it, and I'm a fan, So
That's really cool.
good stuff.